Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 2018 comedy drama A Bread Factory 2, Walk With Me a While.
What's next? What's the news? You startled me out of the house like a terrified bird.
Hey, well, I didn't mean to startle anyone. I apologize for that. A Bread Factory 2 has a 100% fresh rating from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and a 56% fresh rating from the audience. I'm currently reviewing every movie that has a 100% fresh rating from the critics in chronological order. Now, A Bread Factory Part 1 was also 100% fresh. I gave that movie an 8.5 out of 10. I thought that this movie was very well done also. It is incredibly funny. There is really fantastic pieces of acting in this movie, especially at the end of the movie. The end of the movie really brings everything together, and it's just absolutely amazing. I did not like this movie as much as the first one, and a lot of that has to do with the plot. I just wasn't as interested in the plot as I was with the first one. I didn't think there was a sense of urgency of anything that needed to actually happen. It was just kind of like this time it's set in the same city, the same theatrical building, the performing arts building that it was in before. But there's no real drama going on. There's nothing immediate that's going to happen that's bad that they're trying to stop. So I thought that it hurt from that quite a bit, but I still thought that it was a really good movie. So taking off from the first movie, it is this group of art students and art teachers who are putting on a play called Hecuba. Now, the two people who run the theater have been running it for 40 years. They are a lesbian couple. They are named Greta and Dorothea. Now, Greta at the end of the movie, she has one of the really big, great acting scenes in this movie. She's played by Elizabeth Henry, and she is absolutely fantastic. Amazing. I was blown away by how good she was. And it's the same thing in the last movie. She also had a big bit of acting, which she was very good in as well, which I was also blown away by. So she's fantastic in both of these movies. She plays opposite Teresa, who is played by Jessica Pimentel. Now, in the beginning of the movie, she is a very... she's not a courageous actor. She is someone who, I think she works at like a coffee shop or a restaurant, and they ask her to come in and play this part in the play Hecuba, and she's not very sure of herself. She thinks that she's surrounded by like Greta, who's an amazing actress, and she's awestruck by her and she's taken aback by her, and all she wants to do is like stand there and watch Greta act because of how amazed she is at her.
Mother, you've startled me out of the house like a terrified bird.
Alas, my child.
What is this unholy prelude to sorrow?
So she seems like she's not going to work out in the beginning, but Greta and Dorothea have a lot of... they believe in her. They think that she's going to knock this out of the park. And then by the end of the movie, when they actually put her on the play, holy God, she's so good.
And now, I am a slave. The name, to start with, so unfamiliar, makes me long for death.
There's the glow up of her from the beginning to the end is apparent. She is so amazing. Fantastic job. I love the acting in this movie. The acting is just out of this world. Now, there's a couple other scenes in this movie that I thought was really good and I thought was really funny. One of the scenes revolves around like a group of tech bros who have kind of moved into the city, and the older people and the people who live in this town think that they're kind of weird. And around them, there's also a lot of like teenagers and a lot of young people. There's a scene in like this restaurant where I think it's one of the tech bros. He's on his phone and he's texting, and he's clearly not happy with what's going on. He can't find a signal, I believe is the problem on his phone. He's like trying to find a signal everywhere and he can't do it. So he expresses his anger in tap dance, and he just starts like tap dancing furiously and ferociously. which I thought was funny and a very creative way to share your emotions. You just don't see that anymore. When you had musicals with like Singing in the Rain and Top Hat and stuff like that, you got tap dancing all the time to show emotions, to show happiness, to show anger, to show frustration, and it doesn't happen anymore. So when you see it in a movie like this, it's a little weird at first, but then you think, okay, I completely understand why they're doing this, and I absolutely love what's going on screen. There's another scene later in this same restaurant where another person's like tap dancing because they're frustrated, and that's kind of what goes on in this restaurant. It seems like this is the place where teenagers hang out, and a place where they vent their frustration through tap dance. Now they don't say anything. I don't think they mention a single word. It's all through expressive dance. It's all through body language, which I thought was really quite good. And then another scene in this movie which I thought was really funny was there's these people, I think they're just people who move into town or who are visiting town, and they come out of this bus and they just start doing like a random musical number about random things that are going on around the neighborhood. I think it's like a tour guide, and the tour guide is like showing them the sights, and she's like singing the sights, and they have like their one of those sticks that you put like your camera on so that you can get a selfie stick. I think it's a selfie stick. I don't know. I don't take a lot of pictures of myself. I just do YouTube on a camera, apparently. But anyway, they have like selfie sticks, and they're singing and they're taking pictures of themselves with selfie sticks. And I just thought is really funny because it's really shows you what's going on in today's world and like the ridiculousness of things that are happening today. For me, like I said, the big home run in this movie, the part that I really enjoyed in this movie that I thought was fantastic, was when they actually put on the play. There's also another actor who gives a speech during this play, which is fantastic. The whole show that they put on is just amazing. Like I said, Elizabeth Henry and Jessica Pimentel, they just do an amazing job delivering their lines, showing emotion, showing the pain that is in their voice about what's going on screen. Fantastic job. Absolutely amazing. I don't have a lot to say about this movie, really, even though it's like 2 hours long. Like I said, besides these random scenes, like these one-off scenes and the end of the movie, I didn't think the story was as good. I didn't think it pulled you in as much. I didn't think it gave you as much of a reason to care about what was going on, because the first movie really made you care about these characters, really made you care about the program that they're in. It made you feel sorry for the situation that they were in. And then this movie, I think it kind of it loses a lot of that. Like, it doesn't carry that over. You don't have that same sense of enjoyment and love for every character and everything that's going on screen. I just thought it was okay. So all in all, I think the couple funny moments that I saw in this movie and the acting at the end is really what brings this movie home to me, is really what made this movie phenomenal. And I gave part 1 an 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to give part 2 an 8 out of 10. And I'd just like to say that even though Terminator 1 is on this list, Terminator 2 is not. There's only 2 movies that have a part 1 and a part 2 on this list that are both 100% fresh. This movie, A Bread Factory 1, A Bread Factory 2, and Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2. And I just think of all the movies that have sequels that have 2 parts to it or 3 parts to it or whatever. I mean, you have the original Star Wars trilogy, you have Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings, I'm probably missing out the Terminator, like I just said, 1 and 2. It's crazy to me that a little indie movie like this, A Bread Factory Part 1 and 2, would be one of the 2 that are on the list that are 100% fresh. I think that they deserve an 8.5 and an 8, so I think they're good movies. But it just shows you how not all the greatest movies of all time, not all the best movies of all time are actually, on this list. I wish they were, but they're not. But anyway, it's an 8 for me, an 8 out of 10. I hope you join me next time when I review the movie The Spy Gone North. Thank you. Have a great day.